Let's see. Okay. Alright, it's my first time giving testimony, so please bear with me. So, let's look at Psalm 55, verse 23. But you, O God, will cast them down into... Oh, actually, it's a 22. Sorry. Okay. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Right. A lot of times, Christians try to do things on their own way, including myself. When something's not going right, the first thing I think about is what can I do to fix the problem. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and how can I look better, look less Chinese. And so my friends tell me. So, and then I believe that as I think about this passage, I think it's important that we cast our burdens on the Lord. And David was going through a lot of hard times at this time. We don't know what circumstances he's in, but as we can see from verse 6, Psalm 55, verse 6, that he wanted to escape the reality. So he said, and I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove, I would fly away and be at rest. A lot of times I feel that way too. I remember Pastor Sam's sermon last week when he talked about how when he was young he wanted to be like a dog because he doesn't do anything, just lie down. But yeah, that's how I feel a lot of times too. So one time when I went back to Korea during the summer, I told my dad that I don't like school, I don't like myself, and I don't like people, and I was complaining about my life. I think I was like Andrew's age at the time. And my dad was a little bit shocked to hear me say that. So I remember he gave me one verse. It's in Philippians chapter 1, verse 22. Um, 22 through 26. If I am to live in the flesh, that means fruitful labor for me. Yet which shall I choose, I cannot tell. I'm hard-pressed between the two. My desire is to depart and be with Christ, for that is far better. But to remain in the flesh is more necessary on your account. Convinced of this, I know that I will remain and continue with you all for your progress in joining the faith, so that in me that you may have ample cause to glory in Christ Jesus because of my coming to you again. I was telling me that I want to go to heaven, but he was rebuking me at the time, and he gave me this verse saying that you have a purpose here, and then your goal is to be a good witness to people around you. And he was telling me that I need to study hard and work hard. Yeah, okay. As I was thinking about, so going back to Psalm 55, verse 22, okay, as I was thinking about this passage, I thought I need a priority change. I need to have better perspective in life. And I thought to myself, how can I practically really apply this in my life? I think one way for me is to pray in the morning and try to make it to EPS on time as much as I can, even though I will fail. By the grace of God, hopefully, yeah, I can improve, and I've been improving even though I've been slacking last week. So please pray for me on that. But also, it is important that we do our part as a that we have our own human responsibility to fulfill. So it is, nothing is wrong when we say, what can I do to solve this problem? What should I do? There's nothing wrong with that because we as humans have our own responsibility to fulfill. So when we look at Proverbs 21, okay, verse 31. The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. My dad was one time telling me that I don't want to study, I don't want to do anything. He was telling me that it is important to do our jobs because just as the horse is made ready for the day of battle, it is important to do our job. But ultimately, the victory belongs to the Lord, of course. But he told me that I have to do my part as well. So as I looking back to Micah 6:8 as well. Sorry for jumping around. Okay. He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. So I was thinking about my own personal experience one time when I was in graduate school. I had one professor, he was not nice to international students, I noticed. So in my grad school, only 5 or 6 people are Americans and everyone else was international students. And he was really mean to everyone, except for Americans. And I noticed that one time there are 2 old people sitting at the back. He was very nice that day for some reason. I don't know why, but he poses the question to us, and then he asks us questions. He always says that participation is important, but the funny thing is every time you participate, he will yell at you. So like, if you want to get a good grade, you have to participate, but if you participate, be ready to get yelled at. That's pretty much what he did. So like that one time, he was really nice. He asked us questions, and people are answering. He was very nice. But I noticed that these 2 old people were gone at one point, and then his attitude completely changed. He became really mean. So I don't know who these 2 people were at the time, but that really frustrated me how when someone else were watching was acting differently. And then one time I went to his office hour, and then he gave me a hard time. He was telling me that the type of questions that I'm asking is not a question that a graduate student should ask. And then he yelled at me for 3 times, but I was persistent. I still want to learn, but in the end he kicked me out. So I was really bitter, and I was thinking, should I report this to the deans? This is injustice. Man. But I tried to be calm and try to be nice. So next time when I saw him, I smiled to him and said, "Hello, how are you?" The thing is that no one talks to him. None of the students talk to him. But I was the only person who actually initiated a conversation and started talking to him. So afterward, he was a lot nicer to me, and he always picked up me in class to answer questions, and it turned out very good, and he gave me pretty good grade in the class. Um, so I think when I think about the experience, I think about Micah 6:8, that to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. I was angry, and I was thinking to myself, why am I putting up with this guy? This He seems racist at times, and why am I putting up with this guy? But I think it's important that we show love our kindness, and we can do that because of the love of Christ the love of Christ that He showed on the cross. So as we think about Psalm 55, verse 22, let's cast our burdens on the Lord and remember how Jesus died for us on the cross. As Micah 6, verse 8 says, He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. Jesus is the perfect example of what of someone who did justice and love kindness. So let's remember that. Thank you.